We have made Shiva a god on Kailash. That is simply symbolic. It is the highest peak, the holiest peak. We have made it Shiva's abode. We can go there, but we will have to come down. It cannot be our abode. We can go on a pilgrimage. It's a Tetriya, a pilgrimage, a journey. We can touch for a simple moment the highest peak. Then we'll have to come back. In love, this holy pilgrimage happens, but not from all, because almost no one moves beyond sex. So we go on living in the valley, the dark valley. Sometimes someone moves to the peak of love, but then he falls back because it is so dizzy, it is so high, you are so low, and it is so difficult to live there. Those who have loved, they know how difficult it is to be constantly in love. One has to come back again and again. It is Shiva's abode. He lives there. It is his home. A bhairava lives in love. This is his abode. When I say this is his abode, I mean how he is not even aware of love. Because if you live in Kailash, you will not be aware that this is Kailash. This is a peak. The peak becomes a plain. Shiva is not aware of love. We are aware of love because we live in non-love, and because of the contracts we feel love. Shiva is love. The state of Bhairava means that one has become love, not loving. One has become love, one lives on the peak. The peak has become his abode. How to make this highest peak possible, beyond duality, beyond unconsciousness, beyond consciousness, beyond the body, and beyond the soul, beyond the world, and beyond the so-called moksha, liberation. How to reach the peak? The technique is tantra, but tantra is pure technique, so it is going to be difficult to understand. First, let us understand the question what Devi is asking. Oh Shiva, what is your reality? Why this question? You can also ask this question, but it will not carry the same meaning. So try to understand why Devi asks. What is your reality? Devi is in deep love. When you are in deep love for the first time, you encounter the inner reality. When Shiva is not the form, when Shiva is not the body, when you are in love, the body of the beloved falls away, disappears, the form is no more, and the formless is revealed. You are facing an abyss. That is why we are so afraid of love. We can face a body, we can face a face, we can face a form, but we are afraid of facing an abyss. If you love someone, if you really love his body, is bound to disappear. In some moments of climax of peak, the form will dissolve, and through the beloved, you will enter the formless. That is why we are afraid. It is falling into bottomless abyss. So this question is not just a simple curiosity. Oh Shiva, what is your reality? Devi must have fallen in love with the form. Things start that way. She must have loved this man as a man, and now the love has come of age. When the love has flowered, this man has disappeared. He has become formless. Now he is to be found nowhere. Oh Shiva, what is your reality? It is a question asked in a very intense love moment. And when questions are raised, they become different according to the mind in which they are asked. So create the situation, the milieu of the question in your mind. Devi must be at a loss. Shiva has disappeared. When love reaches its peak, the lover disappears. Why does this happen? This happens because really everyone is formless. You are not a body. You move as a body. You live as a body. But you are not a body. When we see someone from the outside, he is a body. Love penetrates within. Then we are not seeing the person from the outside. Love can see a person as the person can see himself from within. Then the form disappears. A Zen monk, Rinzai, attains his enlightenment, and the first thing he asked was, where is my body? Where has my body gone? And he began to search. He called his disciple and said, go and find out where my body is. I have lost my body. He had entered the formless. You are also a formless existence, but you know yourself not directly, but from others' eyes. You know through the mirror. Sometimes, while looking in the mirror, close your eyes and then think, meditate. If there was no mirror, how could you have known your face? If there was no mirror, there could have been no face. You do not have a face. Mirrors give you faces. Think of a world where there are no mirrors. You are alone, no mirror at all. Not even others' eyes working as mirrors. You are alone on a lonely island. Nothing can mirror you. Then will you have any face or will you have any body? You cannot have one. You do not have one at all. We know ourselves only through others, and others can only know the outer form. That is why we become identified with it. Another Zen mystic, Hugh asked to say to his disciple, when you have lost your head meditating, come immediately to me. When you lose your head, come immediately to me. When you begin to feel there is no head, do not be afraid, come immediately to me. This is the right moment. Now, something can be taught to you with the head. No teaching is possible. The head always comes in between. Devi asked Shiva, "Oh Shiva, what is your reality? Who are you?" The form has disappeared, hence the question. In love, you enter the other as himself. It is not you answering, you become one. And for the first time, you know an abyss, a formless presence. That is why for centuries together, centuries and centuries, we were not making any sculptures, any pictures of Shiva. We were only making Shivalinga, the symbol, sculptures, any pictures. Yeah, the symbol. The Shivalinga is just a formless form. When you love someone, when you enter someone, he becomes just a luminous presence. Shivalinga is just a luminous presence, just an aura of light. That is why Devi asks, what is your reality? What is the wonder-filled universe? We know the universe, but we never know it as wonder-filled. Children know, lovers know, sometimes poets and madmen know. We do not know that the world is wonder-filled. Everything is just repetitive. No wonder, no poetry, just flat prose. It doesn't create a song in you. It doesn't create a dance in you. It doesn't give birth to the poetry inside. The whole universe looks mechanical. Children look it with wonder-filled eyes. When the eyes are wonder-filled, the universe is wonder-filled. When you are in love, you again become like children. Jesus says, only those who are like children will enter my kingdom of God. Why? Because the universe is not a wonder. You cannot be religious. The universe can be explained. Then your approach is scientific. The universe is either known or unknown. But that which is unknown can be known any day. It is unknowable. The universe becomes unknowable, a mystery only when your eyes are wonder-filled. Devi says, what is this wonder-filled universe? Suddenly, there is a jump from a personal question to a very impersonal one. She was asking, what is your reality? And suddenly, what is this wonder-filled universe? When form disappears, your beloved becomes the universe, the formless, the infinite. Suddenly, Devi becomes aware that she is not asking a question about Shiva. She is asking a question about the whole universe. Now, Shiva has become the whole universe. Now, all the stars are moving in him, and the whole firmament and the whole space is surrounded by him. Now, he is greater engulfing factor, the great encompassing. Carl Jasper has defined God as the great encompassing. When you enter into love, into a deep, intimate world of love, the person disappears, the form disappears, and the lover becomes just a door to the universe. Your curiosity can be a scientific one. Then you have to approach through logic. Then you must not think of the formless. Beware of the formless, the remain content with the form. Science is always concerned with the form. If anything formless is proposed to a scientific mind, he will cut it into form. Unless it takes a form, it's meaningless. First give it form. A a definite form. Only then does any form, there is no end to it. Dissolve the form. When things become formed as disease, without boundaries, everything and entering another, the whole universe becomes a oneness. Then only is it a wonderful universe. What constitutes seed? Then Devi goes on. From the universe, she goes on to ask what constitutes seed. This formless, wonderful universe, from where does it come? From where does it originate? Or does it not originate? What is the seed? Who enters the universal wheel? Asked Devi. This wheel goes on moving and moving. This great change, this constant flux. But who centers this wheel? Where's the axis, the center, the unmoving center? She doesn't stop for any answer. She goes on asking as if she is not asking anyone, as if talking to herself. What is this life beyond from my prevailing forms? How may we enter it fully, above space and time, names and description? Let my doubt be clear. The emphasis is not on question but on doubts. Let my doubt be clear. This is very significant. If you are asking an intellectual question, you are asking for a definite answer so that your problem is solved. But Devi says, let my doubt be clear. She is not really asking about answers. She is asking for a transformation of her mind. Because doubting mind will remain a doubting mind. Whatsoever answer are given, note it, a doubting mind will remain a doubting mind. Answers are irrelevant. If I give you one answer and you have a doubting mind, you will doubt it. If I give you another answer, you will doubt that also. You have a doubting mind. A doubting mind means you will put a question mark to anything. So answers are useless. You ask me, who created the world? And I tell you, A created the world. Then you are bound to ask who created A. So the real problem is not how to answer question. The real problem is how to change the doubting mind and how to create a mind which is not doubting or which is trustful. So Devi says, let my doubts be cleared. 2 or 3 things more. When you ask a question, you may be asking for many reasons. One may be just this, that you want a confirmation. You already know the answer. You have the answer. You just want it to be confirmed that your answer is right. Then your question is false. Pseudo. It is not a question. You may be asking a question not because you are ready to change yourself, but just as a curiosity. The mind goes on questioning. In the mind, questioning comes as leaves comes on the tree. That is the very nature of the mind, to question. So it goes on questioning. It matters not what you are questioning with anything. Even to the mind, it will create a question. It is a machine to print out, to create questions. So give it anything and it will cut into pieces and create many questions. One question answered and the mind will create many questions from the answer. This has been the whole history of philosophy. Bertrand Russell remembers that when he was a child, he thought that one day when he will be mature enough to understand all philosophy, all questions will be answered. Then later when he was 8, he said, now I can say that my own questions are there standing, that they were standing when I was a child. No other question have come up because of these theories of philosophy. So he said, when I was young, I used to say philosophy is an inquiry for ultimate answer. Now I cannot say it. It is an inquiry for endless questions. So one question creates one answer and many questions. The doubting mind is the problem. Devi says, do not concern with my questions. I have asked so many things. What is your reality? What is your wonderful universe? What constitutes it? Who centers the universal will? What is life beyond form? How can we enter it fully above time and space? But do not be concerned with my questions. Let my doubts be clear. I ask these questions because they are in mind. I ask them just to show you the mind, but do not pay much attention to them. Really, answers will not fulfill my need. My need is let my doubt be clear. But how can the doubt be clear Will any answer do? Is there any answer which will clear your doubts? Mind is the doubt. It is not the mind doubts, mind is the doubt. Unless the mind dissolves, doubts cannot be cleared. Shiva will answer. His answers are techniques, the oldest, most ancient technique. But you can call them the latest because nothing can be added to them. They are complete. 112 techniques. They have taken in all the possibilities, all the ways of clearing the mind, transcending the mind. Not a single method could be added to Shiva's 112 methods. And this book, Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, is 5000 years old. Nothing can be added. There is no possibility to add anything. It is exhaustive, complete. It is the most ancient and yet latest, yet the newest. Old like old hills, the method seems eternal, and they are new like a dewdrop before the sun, because they are so fresh. These 112 methods of meditation constitute the whole science of transforming mind. We will enter them one by one. We will try to comprehend first intellectually, but use your intellect as only as an instrument, not as a master. Use it as an instrument to understand something, but do not go on creating barriers with it. When we will be talking about this technique, just put aside your past knowledge of knowing whatsoever information you have collected. Put them aside. They are just dust gathered on the road. Encounter this method with a fresh mind, with alertness of course, but not with argumentation. And do not create the fallacy that an argumentative mind is an alert mind. It is not because the moment you move into arguments, you have lost the awareness. You have lost the alertness, then you are not here. These methods do not belong to any religion. Remember, they are not Hindu. Just as the theory of relativity is not Jewish, because Einstein conceived it, and radio and television are not Christian. No one says, why are you using electricity? This is Christian. Because a Christian mind conceived it. Science does not belong to races and religion, and the Tantra is a science. So remember, this is not Hindu at all. These techniques were conceived by Hindus, but these techniques are not Hindus. That is why these techniques will not mention any religious ritual. No temple is needed. You are quite enough of a temple yourself. You are the lab. The whole experiment is to go on within you. No belief is needed. This is not a religion. This is a science. No belief is needed. It is not required to believe in the Quran or the Vedas or in Buddha or in Mahavira. No belief is needed. Only a daringness to experiment is enough. Courage to experiment is enough. That is the beauty. A Mohammedan can practice and he will reach the deeper meaning of the Quran. A Hindu can practice and he will, for the first time, know what the Vedas are. And a Jain can practice and a Buddhist can practice. They need not leave the religion. Tantra will fulfill them. Whenever they are, Tantra will be helpful. Whatever they choose in path. So remember, Tantra is pure science. You may be a Hindu or a Mohammedan or a Parsi or whatever. Tantra does not touch your religion at all. Tantra says that religion is a social affair. So belong to any religion. It is irrelevant. But you can transform yourself, and that transformation needs a scientific methodology. When you are ill, when you have fallen ill, or if you have caught tuberculosis or anything, then whether you are a Hindu or a Mohammedan makes no difference. The tuberculosis remains indifferent to your Hinduism, to a Mohammedan, to a belief, political, social or religious. Tuberculosis has to be tried scientifically. There is no Hindu tuberculosis, no Mohammedan tuberculosis. You are ignorant, you are in conflict, you are asleep. This is a disease, a spiritual disease. This disease has to be treated by Tantra. You are irrelevant. Your beliefs are irrelevant. It is just a coincidence that you are born somewhere and someone else is born somewhere else. This is just a coincidence. Your religion is a coincidence. So do not cling to it. Use some scientific method to transform yourself. Tantra is not very well known. And even if it is known, it is very much misunderstood. There are reasons for it. The higher and pure the science, the less is the possibility that the masses will know it. That ends page number 10. The reading will continue. Those who have not subscribed may kindly subscribe And if you think it will be useful for anyone, kindly share it. Thank you.